Hello, beautiful Filipinas. I'm Dane Rose, and this is episode 19 of 100 skills that if you learn them, if you practice them, will generate well-being, success, happiness in your life in various forms. So the first thing I want to touch on is, what is evolution, right? Back 100 years ago, people would drive to work in a buggy and with a horse. And there would be manure, and they would move along at maybe, 3 kilometers an hour, maybe 4. Had to stop and water the horse. And then there was the invention of the car. And the car was not very good at the beginning. It was slow, it was expensive, there were no gas stations, so you had to carry your own gas. The gas was expensive. So, and it would break down. And then they invented a better car, and a better car, and a better car, and a better car. Every single year since the car was invented, they invented a better car, a faster car, a more powerful car, right? A more comfortable car, a car that drives itself, an electric car. Now, what I'm talking about is evolution. Evolution from something that is slow and clumsy and doesn't work very well, that fails a lot of the time, to something that is faster, more graceful, that is more reliable. Now, success is about speeding up the process of personal evolution. Do you come up with a new model for you every 5 years, every year, every month, every week, every day? How often do you create a better you, a faster you, a more reliable you, a more graceful, a more comfortable you? Because you are like that car, right? In some ways slow, in some ways clumsy, in some ways failing, in some ways very uncomfortable. But do you fine-tune? Do you reinvent yourself? And that's where skill 70 comes in, which is keep a diary every day and reflect on choices and patterns. So what a diary is you write down what happened in the day. You can write it on your phone. You can write it on a notepad. You write down, this is what happened today. The next thing you notice and write down is, how do you feel about what happened today? You know, my brother stole my bicycle and then crashed it into a tree. How do you feel about that? Do you think it's funny? Do you feel it's sad? Are you angry? Do you feel powerless? What do you feel? Are you sorry that he crashed his bike, your bike? What do you feel? And what do you think about what you feel? So that's the next layer. What do you think about that? He shouldn't steal my bike. I'm going to have to get a lock so that he can't steal my bike. Or I'm not going to get another bicycle until I find a strategy where it's not being stolen and broken. Or I'm going to remove the tire, one of the wheels on my bike, so that nobody can use it. What do you think about what happened? And what is your choice going forward? What are you going to do differently because of what you experienced? This is called iteration. It's called evolution. It's called change in response to what's happened, so that you and your life are a little bit better with each change, with each new idea. Because if you will change every day, you evolve very quickly. If you will change every month, you evolve, but 30 times slower than if you evolve every day. And if you evolve every year, you evolve 12 times slower than if you evolve every month, and 365 times slower than if you evolve every day. So what a diary does is it produces attention and thought and feeling, which produces heat, which allows you to change faster. That's the power of a diary. It accelerates your personal evolution. So write a diary. What happened? What do you feel about what happened? What do you think about what happened? And what are you going to do differently tomorrow because of what happened, what you feel, what you think about what happened, right? Rapid evolution. It's an evolutionary tool. It's something that I started doing when I was 14 and led to major changes in my life such that I could start my business when I was 17. So on to the next skill. Teach with something, right? YouTube, I'm teaching with YouTube right now. And let's look at why do you teach something for a moment, because this is the art of teaching, right? 77 is the skill with teaching. You can teach with a book, you can teach with YouTube, you can teach with community school classes, you can teach with online courses. So I've taught with all of these ways. I've done online courses, I've written books, I've taught at community colleges, I've taught at other colleges, and I also have multiple YouTube channels and have written multiple books. Why? Well, what I find is that I forget things. I don't think about things. But if I teach other people, then I remember. So one reason to teach is to help other people. But another reason to teach is to learn it very well, which helps yourself. So I found that if I was just learning to help myself, I was a bit lazy. I wasn't motivated. But as soon as I listed a class in the newspaper or listed a class online and said, I am going to teach the class on this subject, as soon as I put it out in the public, then I was very interested in learning everything that I could so that I could teach the class well. And so one reason to teach is if you're too lazy to learn well yourself. And so that's a big reason why I teach is, when I share something with you, I think about it. And then I think that's a good idea. And there are so many good things to do that sometimes I forget. And it's like, oh, I haven't done that in a while. Let me do that too, right? So you want to teach to be of service. You want to teach to benefit other people. You also want to teach to improve your own learning and your own life. So let's go over a couple of the different things. You can start a YouTube channel for free. And the most difficult thing perhaps in the Philippines is all the noise, right, for this kind of format. But you can watch YouTube videos, how to start a YouTube channel, watch a video. And thumbs up if you go and pause this video and do it now. How to start a YouTube channel, go do it. It's fun, it's easy. You can do that on TikTok, but if you want to learn and teach something useful, it's going to take more than a few minutes, right? And so that's why I do YouTube videos. Now, a blog is just you start writing. How to start a blog, again, watch a YouTube video, how to start a blog. You go to that place, it's free, you can start writing your information down. Now, another reason to teach, and this this is another motivation I have, well, I should say to record my teaching, is I'm teaching people all the time. I meet people, I give ideas, I ask questions, I write online. I'm teaching people all the time. But when I teach one person and there's no video of it, I've only touched one person. But if I make a video, maybe 10 people watch that video, maybe 100 people watch that video, maybe one day 1,000 people watch that video. And it hasn't taken more time. So I still take, 10, 20 minutes, the same amount of time to teach an individual. But now many people benefit, and I don't have to repeat myself, right? So this is leverage, right? Now, sometimes you teach for credibility. And what I mean by that is I was going to teach at a prestigious college. And they said, where's your degree in this subject? And I said, my degree is from personal experience. I've done this for 20 years. I'm more competent than many people who hold a degree in this. But I'm not interested in the degree. I'm interested in the skill. And the college was stuck because they didn't have the skill themselves to evaluate my talent. They didn't know. So I wrote a book, and it was very well reviewed. People loved the book. Well, then the college said, oh, you're an author, right? So because I wrote a book on that subject, then they wanted me to teach that subject. So sometimes you write a book to gain credibility. And if it's a good book, that people start, oh, I like that, right? Then you gain credibility. So there's many benefits to teaching. You can teach to organize your own thoughts, to think clearly. You can make videos to practice speaking. For example, if you give a presentation to a group, you may make a sale. It's useful in salesmanship to make a presentation to a barangay or to your family or to a corporation, your company, or to a group. So you practice thinking, but you can also, if it's a YouTube video, you're practicing public speaking, which is a very useful skill. So you get many, many, many benefits. So YouTube, it's free. A blog is free. Writing a book is free. Create Space is an Amazon division where you can self-publish books for free. You can give talks for free. But the key thing is you want to develop the skill of teaching. Now, how do you know you're a good teacher? There's a book called Effective Public Speaking by Dale Carnegie. I read that book, and I used it to start my public talks. And then I went to little local community groups. I practiced. I wrote out my speech in advance. And then I put it in front of me so I could glance, and I put big text, so that I wouldn't be too distracted. I could just glance at it. And then I practiced at home and used a clock, right? I walked around the room, I gave my speech, and I saw, am I on time, right? There may also be Toastmasters in the Philippines. There are in the US. It's an international group, Toastmasters, that teaches you to talk. But your life will go up when you become a teacher, when you become effective at presenting useful knowledge to other people. So, I'm excited for you. Doors will open. It has opened doors all of my life to be able to speak well with an individual, a group, a book, etc. All right, so 72. Meet new people outside of your norm. Now, we're all surrounded by people that think like us, from our culture, from our family. And everyone is doing and thinking and feeling the same thing. And so we think this is normal. And it is in our little tiny group. So how do we know what people are doing outside, far away? What's going on in Denmark? What's going on in Finland? What's going on in Thailand? Right? So we want to spend some time every week with people that are very different than us. Now, we don't have to do this in person. We can watch a documentary. We can watch YouTube videos. For example, there's a wonderful YouTuber in Sweden. And she's been living up north, creating art, doing all kinds of things. And it opened my life to life in Sweden. It opened my world to see what is it like to be her in Sweden, in different weather, in different culture, with different experiences. She's a woman, I'm a man, right? And so if you type in popular Swedish blogger or vlogger, video blogs, right? She'll come up. Does wonderful paintings and singing and ice baths. It's very interesting. And this is a woman who had no money. This is a woman who was depressed, even thinking of suicide, not very happy, didn't like city life. And she just decided she would move into the countryside. And she would start creating her art and living a life that she was into. Now she's one of the most famous people in Sweden, right? Because she followed her journey, right? And so it's inspiring to see, maybe I could do that. What's stopping me from doing that, right? So she's now doing clothing and jewelry. So she could be a real role model for you. Again, famous Swedish vlogger, right? Woman, female vlogger, and she'll come up, right? So you want to meet and spend time with people other than you. You may be very poor. So go to a YouTube channel for rich people and listen to them talk about being rich. Bill Gates or whatever, Elon Musk. What do they think about? How do they see the world differently than you do? Because there are many ways to look at the world, and you want to expand your capacity to imagine and to think, right? So this is just a generally good skill to do. Number 73, think from first principles and redesign anything, right? So first principles means you delete everything, right? There's the mountain, there's the flowers, there's the water. That's it. Now, how would you create the very best education in the world? Starting from scratch, would you use computers or not use computers? Would you teach by doing? Would you teach generalized subjects? Or would you teach in books? Or how would you design the best education system in the world? 10 times better than anything anyone has ever done. How would you do that? From scratch, step by step by step. And why would you do it this way rather than this way? First principles thinking. Forget everything that's happened. Say, here's the world as it is. How would I create the most amazing thing? Now, this is a very useful way of thinking. So the beginning point in first principles thinking is, if I was designing from the very beginning with no memory of how anyone else is doing it, how would I design and why? What would I create? How would I live my life if I just scratched everything and I said, delete, delete my family, delete my culture, delete my memories, delete everything, and just like, what would create the most satisfying life? How would I do that? What would it look like? How much would it cost? What would I do every day? And just write it down and analyze it. Think about it. It's incredibly exciting to develop this, and all great innovators, right? Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, great innovators, Beethoven, right? Great artists, thinkers. They all forget about everything. Einstein, have a dream. They imagine something and then they follow their imagination. The Wright brothers learning to create the first airplane. When everyone says it can't be done. First principles thinking is a very powerful skill. And it's a beautiful skill. All evolution on Earth comes out of these deep new ideas. The invention of the plane, the invention of the telephone, someone's imagination. A new way, rather than riding horses and sailboats across the ocean to deliver mail, to send email, an imagination. I'd love to hear some of your ideas if you want to fill out the form in the more information below. And good luck. Thank you for making it this far, and I'll be there in the next video.